Hey everybody, it's Johnny. I hope you're doing well. I know I am. First and foremost, you might want to settle in with the drink because we are in for a ride. In case you missed it, or in case you didn't have 3.5 hours to spend, during the live Google Horror Hangout recently, a subject was brought up of guilty pleasures, or favorite movie that you know is so bad that you love to watch. And we all went around the horn and we're talking about movies and things like that. And Jon from Box of Dread, he says, it's not even one that he loves to watch, but it's something he has to mention. And he didn't want to mention, he was talking about how bad it was. And immediately I was like, have to see this. In fact, I ordered that movie on the Hangout. And what showed up to my door this week? None other than Strawberry Estates. Cost me a whopping $4.97, I want to say. Thank you, Amazon, I think. So, I got this, and I thought this was too good to not go, to let go without a video. Even in the first couple of minutes, I was like, this is too good to not start documenting all of my notes. So I have my laptop here with kind of my thought process going through this movie. I'd like to walk you through this. A little bit of a background on the movie, a little bit of the actual story, a little bit of a review, and my thought process going through this, because Strawberry Estates is too good to not do that for. And Jon, I dedicate this video to you. So, what is Strawberry Estates? Well, let's take a quick look at the back of our expertly crafted liner notes or cover. I mean, actually, you should look at this. This is, okay, you can't even tell the quality from there, but it's interesting. So, let's see here. This tape is intended for FBI officials only. Possession by non-authorized personnel is prohibited. Red File 66095, Strawberry Estates. For authorized eyes only. In November of 1999, Jonathan P. Laurel, a professor at Syracuse University in New York, led an expedition, sounds fancy, into the Smith Garrett building located in Eaton, New York. 3 days later, the expedition disappeared without a trace. The research was being documented by an independently hired videographer named Jason Knowles. His recordings of the expedition contained within are all that remains. So, so far, sounds intriguing, right? Sounds very interesting. They go off on this expedition. They're going to discover what's going on in this former mental asylum. We'll see what this is all about. Now, this came out in 2001, so 2 years before Blair Witch came out, and there are some striking similarities. But when Blair Witch was coming out, there was so much hype at the time, and there was footage that was already kind of being seen, and there were people that were in on what was going on. So this was what I believe, and when I'm reading online, was kind of a, let's cash in on the Blair Witch hype before Blair Witch gets here, and we'll throw everybody together, film it in a weekend, or so it seems, and we'll try and get this off the ground. So, I'm going to walk you through kind of my thoughts. So it starts off with this. It's actually a very cool opening. I was very enthused in the opening seconds. I said, cool crime video scrolling text opening. So just like this on the back where they say FBI file, it had that in like those kind of blocky computer letters. FBI found this footage, ... eyes only. And it even has like use your level 6 clearance password to access files. Like you're going through it on a computer to find it and somebody hacked it and put it together. So I'm thinking, okay, this is pretty interesting so far. Then it goes, I say, whoa, same Blair Witch opening, very handheld style. So you look back to Blair Witch and you think of that moment where they're in the hotel and they're like, we're going to go out and find the truth. And they're like figuring out how the camera works. So far I'm like, I'm on board. I'm with it, because the cam work is very shaky, and you get the feeling that this is like, okay, they're going for real reality filming. I mean, like, they drop the camera, and they're like, dude, what the hell, I just bought that, and then they pick it up and stuff like that. And they're talking about this thing. And we are introduced to Jason Knowles, the main videographer, documentarian, who apparently knows nothing about where he's going. So he's a total burnout. So if you were a respected doctor at the local college, this is, of course, the guy you would get to make your documentary for you. We start going around and he's talking to his friends and they're telling stories about Strawberry Estates. And I put in here, lots of cussing to add to the realism. Because people say these words every other time, right? It's just ridiculous. It's like nonstop. So he's talking to his two buddies, and they're hanging out there, his three buddies, and they're hanging out there like, well, I heard this one time, some guy went there and totally got killed, dude. And then the other guy's like, oh yeah? Well, I heard two guys went there, and they both totally got killed, dude. And then this super serious guy comes in, and he's all, well, I just won't go there, because I know about people getting killed there, and I don't want to get killed there, dude. And at this point, I wrote down, I have never seen people trying to act so realistic while acting so hard. It seems as though it's like a stroke of brilliance. It seems like you take this from a real movie, and you take actors who are like, it feels like the recording of a documentary. It's actors pretending to do a found footage film while acting as actors pretending to do a found footage film. This thing's got layers. This is the inception of found footage films. So after all of these terrible stories of what happens there, the one guy just says, Strawberry Estates is just plain bad. And you're like, that's it. It's just plain bad. That's what we're ending on. So dramatic. So, we then meet Sarah. Now, Sarah is the intern of the Doctor of Paranormal Activity. And in the first 3 seconds, you know they are totally getting it on behind the scenes. She's all, what's the name? The doctor. I just wrote down Dr. Jonathan. He has a name. Dr. Laurel. She's all, well, Jonathan, Dr. Laurel. And you're like, oh, come on. Can we, make this any more blatant? She is telling him all about what's going on. He walks by, and he's all, Jennifer, or Sarah, and he, longingly grips, this is how he does it, Sarah? That felt kind of nice. I might have to do that more often. So lonely. So then he walks away. And this is the best part about it, because Jason, who is apparently, filming the whole thing, he's like, so where are we going? What's Strawberry Estates? Why do they call it Strawberry Estates? Are there strawberries there? He's totally high at this point. He just wants a sandwich. So, he apparently knows nothing, and she has to say everything about it. The Smith-Garrett building became Strawberry Estates and whatnot. So then we meet Dr. Jonathan, who from here on out is not Dr. Laurel. He is Dr. Jonathan because that's what I wrote down. I wrote down, Dr. Jonathan, way serious doctor man. You know he's serious because he always has an angry look on his face, and he's always wearing some sort of Cosby sweater, or sweater vest. So doctors wear sweaters, hence he is a doctor. And you know he's a doctor because he's very forceful and just shouts out orders all the time. I'm Dr. Laurel, and I'm telling you, we're going into that building. No one's leaving. No! You go over there, you film it. Okay, we'll do it that way. No, we're going to do it my way. We're not doing it anyway. Yes, we're going to do it my way. It's ridiculous. Oh my God. And I'm not sure if it's the most amazing, authentic, New York accent, or the worst New York accent in the world. Actually, I take credit for the worst New York accent in the world. That was terrible. But it was an impression of Dr. Laurel. So, okay. So, way serious Dr. Man. Okay, now Jennifer Brahms, okay, that's what I was saying, Jennifer, is a local psychic, and she's coming to the building to help them with this documentary, and she gets dropped off by Joseph, who's her brother. And it's awesome, because Joseph is this big, Guido, Jersey Shore kind of guy. He gets out of the car, he tosses the bags down, hey, you mind not filming me, buddy? And then the guy's like, whatever. He's like, whatever? Who says whatever to me? And goes nuts. and then he's gone. And it's the best 3 minutes of the entire film. Because you're like, where is this guy? And then he drives off, and Jennifer is like, I'm sorry, I don't know why he's like that. He's never like this. Something about today. And that's it. That's how she acts the entire movie. I'm a psychic. I can understand things. There's people I see in my dreams. It's amazing. So he leaves. We find out that she is there because she is a local psychic and she has a special connection to the place. What's the connection? I can't talk about it right now. What's the connection? Don't ask questions! What's the connection? I don't know. Jonathan, it's ridiculous. So, I wrote here, laugh out loud. Jon is totally right. Okay, so I said before that, documentary filming, get a better cameraman. If the idea is that this is a documentary, before there's anything crazy happening, shouldn't the film, like filming actually be good? I said laugh out loud. Jon, so Jon, you were absolutely right. Jon mentioned a moment where Dr. Jonathan is standing outside discussing, the history of the place and things like that. Now, I actually have been pretty feels very realistic. Feels like three dudes got high and said, let's make a movie over a weekend and started filming, and that's what you're getting. So, but there is this moment, he's standing on a hill. It is very windy. Now, they could have heard, because you see that in the rest of the movie, they have moments where there's loud stuff going on, and you still hear what they're saying, but you can't hear a thing this guy's saying. It's like, whoosh, woo, 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 whoosh, woo, woo, woo. And it has to be realistic. They even included, subtitles at the bottom. So, they had to have planned that. That was a very striking moment of brilliance. I give it to that. I write here again, he's a doctor because of sweater vests. So, there we go. Okay, so they're hanging out on the property, testing out the cameras, right? So, basically, so far, nothing's happened. And we're going to continue on this path where nothing happens for about an hour. So right now, we're in the first, next 20 minutes of nothing happening. So they are filming around. I said, cool sets to film in. They had these, abandoned barns thing that they went in. And then I went, uh-oh, scary bum found! So that was after 10 minutes of flirting and awkward sexual tension. It was ridiculous. So, Jonathan and Sarah go off and they're playing with cameras. And she's like, so do you have a boyfriend? And he's like, no, girlfriend. Do you have a girlfriend? And he's like, I don't know. Do you have a boyfriend? What's that over there? Ha ha ha. And so now they're walking around. They find the scary bum guy. Police come. And Dr. John's like, you knew who that was, didn't you? You knew who he was. And he's talking to Jennifer, the psychic. And Jennifer's like, yes, I did. He is the old patient here. He was also a teacher. He taught me. He taught my mother. Now he's crazy. He came to warn me not to come here because he saw a vision from my mother. Literally, all of that happens in about 30 seconds, just like that. And the filmmaker guy's like, dude, why don't you tell us about this? And Sarah's all, just calm down. Jonathan, Dr. Laurel knows what he's doing. And the doctor's like, you guys, leave it alone. I'm not going to scream at you anymore until I stop screaming for another 30 seconds. And then she's like, I need to leave. And she walks away. And that's it. And it never gets talked about. So, Jennifer and the bum of the mother. Oh, and there's fake static. Fake static. Okay, so then you find out that she's here to exorcise the place because she's got an edge. And she has an edge because she says, I have an edge up that the other exorcists didn't have. Ridiculous. And I wrote, everyone's talking very loud and forceful. Ha ha. Okay, so now Dr. Jonathan is talking about ghost stories and things that people said they may have seen in this place. And he goes through I noted this sound like a 3.5 minute conversation about a red ball falling downstairs. And I wrote, gonna see that later on. And it never shows. Spoiler alert, if you're waiting for a creepy moment where you hear a kid laughing and maybe there's a red ball bouncing downstairs, ain't gonna happen. We just wanted to burn 3 minutes of film because we had nothing else to talk about. Okay, there's a long story about spirits sticking to people. evil spirits. And they make a very clear point of that. Well, spirits can stick to some people. What kind of spirits? Spirits. Evil ones, even. Ridiculous. So, I wrote, laugh out loud, this doctor's a dick. I think they just want people to hate him, so that when he dies, it's okay. He just tosses around orders and asks questions nonstop. It's seriously not even like reasonable questions. Like, they're trying to film, they're gonna try and do a seance downstairs, right? And we go through about 3 minutes, where he's like, oh, no, this isn't working. This isn't working. There's too many lights on. Can you turn off the lights and still film? And the guy's like, no, we can't turn off the lights and still film. It's the dark then. And he's like, well, can you turn off one light? Can you not film? Can we film but pretend we're filming and not film when we are filming, but we're pretending we're not filming? And then he's like, let me put a candle down. Okay, that works. Now film. Great idea. Me for the candle. So, she starts doing a seance, gets nothing. And then they've sent out other cameramen that don't appear anywhere else but in this one scene. They sent other cameramen out to other areas of the property because there were too many people disrupting the spirits. And they start, like, calling in, we're hearing creepy noises. And it's like people going, woo! Ah! And there's, like, chains. They find out there's kids running around in masks. And it ends up being some punk kids. Then the doctor runs to the door and goes, kids! Goddamn kids! Priceless. Okay, Sarah and Jason hang out discussing religion for like ever, and it doesn't amount to much of anything. And then, Jason didn't turn the camera off, and now they're doing the dirty. So Sarah's like all about Jason, even though Dr. Laurel, is somewhere around there. I don't know, but she's like going back to his room. They hang out. They're drinking. He's like, do you want to smoke pot? And she's like, you have to erase the film. Why not just turn the camera off right then and there? And he's like, okay, I'll just turn this off. And then he moves it. And he like winks into the camera and goes and sits back down. Ridiculous. And then, yes, there's the sex scene that doesn't even happen. Okay. Then they come out. And Jennifer, the psychic, is very upset because Jonathan's locking them in for 2 days. She's upset for like 30 seconds. She's like, what? You can't do this. And he's like, yes, I can. And then the cameraman says, you can't keep us locked in here. What if something happens? And then, all of a sudden, as if on a dime, Jennifer says, no, he's right. We can do this. It will be all right. Ridiculous. So we basically spend 2 days talking about philosophical and religious debates. They found the doorway lies within drawn on the wall. This is just them walking around. I wrote, Sarah is there for exposition and silly emotions. It's ridiculous. She's like all upset now the next day because I don't know why. I guess she feels bad for them having like had sex. And he's just like talking to her normally, and she's like, you've changed since yesterday. And he's like, whatever, we just had sex, you've known me for like 4 hours, I don't know what you expected. And then I wrote, damn, Jason's a hit it and quit it man, that's ice cold. My comments are fantastic to me, and me alone. Okay, now, they are doing, this is the best part, they are doing another seance, right? And Jennifer starts seeing spirits, okay? And the best thing is, this moment is so amazing because it could be somebody setting down a ham sandwich and she would have the same emotional reaction. She's like, I see someone. I see someone coming this way. No, now there are 2 of them. No, now there are 3 of them. And the doctor all the time is, how many are there? Are they coming toward you? Do they hate us because we're alive? Who asks that? This is like when she sees the first person. It's like, do they hate us because we're alive? And she's like, yes. Yes, they hate us because we're alive. Oh, it's brilliant. And then she starts seeing details. It's like, oh my God, his eyes. There are worms in his eyes. And this fake disgust is amazing. And no one else is interested. And it says, and his eyes. He has no eyes. Oh my goodness. And then the guy's like, no eyes? What else do you see? There's dozens of them now. Dozens? That can't be possible. No, hundreds. The room's filled with them. They're literally in a room about this size. You can't fit dozens, let alone hundreds. And, and I think he says to her, "Are you alright? Are you scared?" And she says, "Yes, Professor. I'm scared now." Oh, it's brilliant. So I say, laughing my ass off, because, okay, now they start talking about this, okay? And we go through 5 minutes of rampant hypothesizing and questions and, like, prophecies and theories that Dr. Jonathan, takes 100% serious every single time. And whenever he takes it serious, then Jennifer is like, "You're right." Apparently, spirits are coming through Strawberry Estates to apparently take over the Earth. We know this because he says, the spirits, they must be coming through Strawberry Estates to take over the Earth. And then she says, "But wait, what if there's a battle between angels in heaven and the demons escaping from hell?" And he says, "Oh my God, you're right! There's a battle from the angels in heaven and the demons escaping from hell." Literally, all like in a row, this all happens. And I say, wait, now the professor is dead set certain this is the coming of hell on earth. So he says, "No, it's not about a war. It's about an uprising. They're just coming here. There has been no new data, no new facts. All we know is that the girl is apparently scared now, which we couldn't tell because there were dozens of spirits with scary eyes in a room." This is nuts. This is not... I say, oh, thank God, I think something's happening. There's weird groaning noises, somebody walking around the halls, and then there's a guy that was in front of them. He's just like walking down the hall, and then he's gone, and no one seems to care. They're all standing in like a perfectly well-lit hallway, and this makes it look like it was like in an old school or something. They're standing in a perfectly well-lit hallway, and they're not moving, they're not screaming, they're like, "Oh, there's a guy there! Oh, now he's over here! What are those noises?" And it ends up being like a guy with like an axe, and he gets really close and he goes, "Ugh!" And then it cuts away, and Jennifer goes, "Ah!" And they're like, "What happened?" And she's like, "I stopped him." And the doctor goes, "You knew who that was?" And she's like, "Yes." And he says, "It was the crazy axe murderer that was treated here, isn't it?" And she says, "Yes." So apparently he's the strong demon, is a crazy axe murderer that nowhere else was shown up in the movie. And then Sarah, out of the blue, so now everybody wants to leave, but the doctor won't let them. He goes crazy. He says, "No one's leaving!" And he grabs people and throws them around. "I'll kill you if you try to leave!" And he actually says that, which is bizarre. And then Sarah runs up after all this happens and says, "Did you delete the tapes? I can't have the doctor see me on the tapes. He'll flunk me." Like, where does this come out of? Is that really your main concern right now? And he's like, "I totally erased the tapes." And then, you know, if he was looking at the camera, he'd been like, okay. Oh, yes, the spirit that's pushing through is apparently Broderick Lynch, an axe murderer that nobody ever talked about. I wrote down Sarah's apparently getting a cold. She gets sick, and it has nothing to do with anything, but it's apparently a big thing because she starts coughing all the time. Okay, now they're going to do a controlled possession, which apparently is a terrible idea for a second. Jennifer goes, Dr. Jonathan says, "I'd like to see if we could try a controlled possession." And Jennifer goes, "A controlled possession? I could barely hold them back last time. I don't think it's a good idea." The cameraman goes, "Maybe she's right. We shouldn't do this." And then she goes, "No, it'll be all right. We should do this." I think that she just wants to disagree with the cameraman, Jonathan. I think that's all there is to it. So, okay, now they're going to do it, and someone named Smith is talking through Jennifer. Is that, Smith Garrett. Okay, Smith Garrett Building. So he's talking through Jennifer saying, basically, "Dr. Jonathan, your theories and crazy hypotheses that came out of nowhere were absolutely correct. This is hell on earth, we are coming, blah, 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 blah." And Jennifer, meanwhile, is holding the spirit door shut. We know because he says, "No, There is one who can stop us. She is here. It is Jennifer. She is holding the spirit door shut. Okay, and then Jennifer goes crazy, and this is the best part of the movie. She gets, demonized or something, and she's like, you're all gonna die here, ha ha ha. And then it gets really trippy, because she, starts hitting some real veins, and she gets ice cold, and she's like, Sarah, it doesn't feel better, does it? That pain inside you? That pain you filled with men? How many have there been? 30, 35, 40, Jason, Dr. Jonathan? And she's like, no! And she runs away, and then goes to sleep. So, okay, and now Jennifer is doing the straight to the camera talk. She's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know it would be like this. Mother, I need your help. I need your help. Help me protect the spirits. So that's kind of one of those things, like the Blair Witch type thing. Okay, now there's another seance. And she gets crazy possessed and lights start flickering, which is like the sure sign of hell on earth is light flickering. And then the doctor goes crazy. So she's like, you're all gonna die. I'm releasing the spirits. And out of the blue, here comes Dr. Jonathan being all awesome and swings an axe in her head. Right? So, Jason and Sarah run away and hide because the professor apparently is now crazy, and I believe that he was supposed to have been taken over by that axe murderer that had nothing to do with the story, and he's chasing everybody down. They hide, then she throws something, and he walks into a dark room, and they use the camera light on the camera to blind him, and Jason kills the professor. And then I said Sarah is spinning in circles, screaming Jason for some reason. So they get separated somehow after they kill them because they're trying to get out, and the camera is literally spinning 360 degrees for 90 seconds. And she's going, Jason! 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 As she's holding the camera. Wouldn't you just put it down, or would you continually be swinging in circles? It's literally, Jason! 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 That's what the camera movements were. That's what it was. Okay, and then, apparently Jennifer's back up by the will of the spirits, I suppose, and the camera fell to the floor. And that's it. She goes, Wah! And the camera falls to the floor. Basically, the last 3 minutes of Blair Witch, almost moment for moment, except no one's scared, I wrote. So, that happens. Okay. So, now, all we're left down to is Jason. And I wrote, so Jason's running away. He can't get outdoors. The lights are out. He's got the night vision on so he can see. He's running away, and I wrote here, and then all his friends show up? So, apparently, he is now, all those spirits that were rising up through Strawberry Estates are now flooding the grounds. And you start to see these shapes come out. And the shapes are menacing. Until the shapes move closer, and you see they're wearing t-shirts and flannel shirts. It's like, oh no, we've unleashed 1990 Seattle on everybody. It's ridiculous. They all start coming in they're like, oh sweet, I just finished up my shift at Pizza Hut. I can be in a movie. Let me take this Pizza Hut hat off. I'm ready to go. And they're just walking around if there were spirits, wouldn't they be wearing I don't know, something a little bit more menacing or nothing at all, like that scene in The Beyond where all the spirits come at the end. And they're all naked, or if they were former patients, wouldn't they be in patients' uniforms, the gowns and things like that? That would have made sense. Not a Billabong shirt with some guy surfing with a red flannel over it. I almost swear I saw one guy with a visor tipped up to the side. There was a guy in stunner shades. I saw Flavor Flav. There's a giant clock. I don't know what I saw, but these were not spirits. So, then I said, I think they hugged him to death because he just starts looking around and there's a bunch of people and they just get close and the movie's over. You have no idea. My notes were so much better than the movie. So, this has been a very long one. If you expected to watch Strawberry Estates and be surprised by anything that happens, I apologize. There were spoilers in this. I'm going to list that down there and in the comments. You don't need to watch it. I've made it 10 times more entertaining. At least I think so. And, damn, John, you know how to pick them. I honestly though, John, this was, if you actually end up watching this, this was hilarious, and I'm actually very glad I saw it for those notes, because it was a very fun movie to just watch and laugh at. Kind of like The Last Slumber Party. If you ever see The Last Slumber Party, that is another one that is just so bad that it hasn't quite reached so bad it's good. It's still bad, but there's those charming bits about it. So, that is my play-by-play review of Strawberry Estates. Wonderful. It's too good. Too good to pass up. Okay, y'all have a great evening. I'm gonna catch you later. Bye!